Hi, Barry.
Hi, how are you, Elena?
Great to see you and have you on our podcast. Today we will speak about very interesting topic as how to inspire people in your company so they see the vision of the company, they understand the mission, and will be also excited about doing meaningful work.
hmm That's right. And I think it's really important today because it's very easy for people to become skeptical that maybe what they're doing is not that big of a deal. Maybe what their company produces or offers is like everybody else. So I'm here today in part to hopefully inspire people because my goal with my book that just came out a few months ago is to inspire over 1 million people worldwide with that message. So if we can help a few folks today, we're on our way to that goal.
Amazing goal, and I am so happy to help you with that goal because the goal of our podcast is to empower and inspire 1 million driven business owners and entrepreneurs worldwide.
Well, perfect. We can do this together then.
Yeah, let's do it together. I'm so excited about this important message.
Mhm.
So, where would you like to start with?
I think what's so important is this, is that whether you have a small business, whether you have a very, very large business, it's very, very likely that what you are doing has uniqueness, has some distinctiveness, some value. And maybe you and I can inspire some of our listeners today to realize that, hey, why don't you stop for a second and look at all of what you produce, all of what you provide, and see if there are a few unique, distinct things that you're doing. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5 things, not 100, but take a look, take a close look. You know, my company is brought in to help companies look for those things because sometimes you're so close to what you do, Elena, that you don't see it anymore. You know, it's just how we do it. That's what we say. Oh, why do you do this? Well, it's what we do. But take a look and identify those very few things that make what you do special. Put your effort there before you put it into trying to be something else, before you put that effort into being a commodity and everything else. And then once you do that, name those uniquenesses. So those of us who have children, we did not name our children child 1, child 2, and child 3. We gave them names. And behind their names were stories of why we named our children what we named them. You know, I named my daughter after the name my mom wished she had when she was growing up. So my daughter's named Laura. My mom always wanted to be Laura, as an example. And I named my son after my father and my brother. So there's a reason behind. So you start to tell stories as to why you named your differentiation. But the most important part of all of it, and you talked on it very early in our show, is celebrating it. Celebrating it with the most important people in the world, your employees, the people who know your product, the people who know what you offer, and let them know that what they're doing is meaningful.
Yes, it is very important because all people, they have that feeling that they want to be celebrated and they want to be something that really has value. Yes, nobody wants to do something and not even know does it bring any value to the world. Yes, nobody want to waste time. So it's so important when the people who we work with understand the mission, why we do this. They understand this why, and this why should be big, not just for the owner of the company who already see that big vision, But it is also important to help other team members see that big vision. Yes, so they also get excited and inspired. And this is how this energy, very beautiful energy of cooperation and creativity will be created, yes, or implemented in the process.
You're so right. If we think about it, all over the world, leaders of companies are concerned about employee retention, holding on to your employees. They're also concerned about quality. They want high quality, right? Okay, well, if your employees do not understand the mission and they think what they're doing is really not very unique or special, why do we expect them to care about doing a quality job? Why do we expect them to stay? It's crazy, right? So we have to give them a reason to go, wait a minute, there is a purpose. I'll share a little story. I went through a factory that built ambulances. And I talked to one of the people on the line, and I asked him what he did. And he said, well, all I do is plug in wire harnesses. I said, okay, so you plug in a wire harness. He said, yeah, but I'm going to leave. I'm going to get 25 cents more an hour at a factory down the road. And I said, well, let's think about this. Every one of these ambulances that your company produces, and they produce thousands a year, I said, it'll last about 10 years. And in that time, over 100,000 people will have their lives protected, or in some cases saved, because that ambulance is safe and it's going to get them to the hospital in time, hopefully to stay alive and to recover. And the young man looked at me and he said, well, I didn't think I was in the life-saving business. Well, Elena, maybe he is in the life-saving business. And everybody listening, if he believes that what he's doing is helping to save lives, do you think he's going to make sure he plugs in those wire harnesses correctly? Do you think he's going to make sure everyone else going down the line is saying, is hearing him say, hey, wait a minute, we've got lives to save here, people. Let's do it right. And I also think he'll probably stay because he thinks that what he's doing, and he's right, has some value to it. It gives him a sense of significance.
Yes, I think that everyone wants to be a part of a big picture. Yes, because everyone understands that this life is given once, and not all people are entrepreneurs and business owners. And those people who come to work for somebody, they also have this feeling that the time is precious. And when we help them to see themselves as a part of big picture, when we share our big vision, it gives them that inspiration and empowerment, and they understand that the work, what they do, is a part of that big work that other team members do. And this is how, instead of having just group of people, we can create a team, a team who, instead of competing, create something together and encourage each other to do and bring to the surface their best.
You're exactly right. And that's what we can do. One thing that I think is really important as we look at our companies, and that is if we ourselves as leaders don't really think what we're doing is that special, our people pick up on that message. In my book, I talk about there are 200,000 words in the English language. So you speak Ukraine and English. Okay, so you have a lot of words to choose from, Elena, a lot of words, okay? And in our language, 200,000 words exist that can describe what we do. And I really urge the leaders to use the very best words possible and to avoid words like just or local. We're just an ambulance company. We're just a local such and such. We're just a company. We're only blah, blah, blah. We're another type of, okay, we have to avoid those things as leaders. Because think about, if we tell everybody we're just a local company that does this or that, our people are going to go, yeah, we're just a local company. We're not special. If we let our people know that, look, we are saving lives, or one of our core values is rigor. We want to do things right. Even if it's a little harder, we want to do it right. We have rigor, as opposed to quality, service, value, selection, price, which are those typical words we all use too much. We as leaders must choose our words. You mentioned tell our why. Our why should not be filled with a bunch of meaningless, useless words. If we're going to tell what we do and why, look at a few words that mean something. So at my company, as an example, we use a word that's very musical, and it has a lot to do with improvising, collaborate. And the word is jam or jamming, like a jam session. And it's because I have a background as a rock musician, rock and roll musician. And we have adopted the idea of jamming at our company. So it's part of our language. We do over 150 jam sessions every year, internally and with clients. What I'm sharing, Elena, is that makes us a little different. We don't say, oh, we kind of sit around and think of ideas. No. We're conducting jam sessions. And what it means to people coming into our company is, hey, this is a company that collaborates all the time. That's one of the things that makes us unique and different. So I urge all of us, look at those unique things we're doing, but then where I challenge us, come up with some unique words for them. Give them a title. Explain them with at least a few words that do not include things like service, value, selection, solutions, the things that everybody else says. Let's be as unique and meaningful as possible.
Yes, I totally agree that everyone wants to be unique. It doesn't matter if they're owner of the company or a member of the team. Everyone wants to have that significance and understand that they are doing something important.
Right.
And part of the great big picture.
That's right. That's right. What do you see, Elena, when you talk to business owners? What is their struggle in this area as far as, is it commoditization? Is it trying to get people inspired? What are the things you see with all the business people that they're fighting with the most?
I think that people need more inspiration and more tolerance and human approach, as when they can be more open to listen and to hear their employees and appreciate their insights, so everyone in the team can feel that they are important part of the team, like important member. So relations between leaders, between team members, so it is no feeling of competition, because idea, like what makes the company strong is when to make people feel secure and unique, understand that there is no competition in the company, it is only creation process, and by creating and supporting each other, and again they will create and support each other only when they see why it is important, why what they do is really makes the difference.
And I agree with you. And that's why I think our messages work pretty well, because what you said's right, but there really is no reason for that employee to really believe it unless they truly think the leader does, and that the leader and his or her team has been able to identify a few of those things and the reason behind it. It's not looking for what makes you superior against every company in the world, because I don't think there is one company that's superior to everybody else. And if you're in a field and you're up against, let's say, a half dozen main competitors, I would say it's highly improbable that any one competitor is better in every category. I haven't seen it, but here's what is true. You can offer a service or a product that is valuable because you believe in a certain way of delivering that. And what is so important is if you can not only believe it, but you can share it and inspire your people, you'll get the goal that you want, because your people are going to think, no, wait a minute. She really cares. She cares about it. She's actually listening. So I agree with you. I think it's more important today than ever to connect with the people who represent who we are, because they are our brand.
Yes, and I liked, as you said in the beginning, that everybody is unique and everybody product is meant to be unique. So we have to stop compare ourselves with other people and understand that there is always opportunity to create something new. Instead of competing with existing models, we can create a new model which will make existing models obsolete. So this is such a big, huge idea that everyone can see that they are different and they are given unique talents and gifts, and they can just come from the place of development those talents really coming from the place of their big goals. Yes, when they start listening themselves and find their strengths and really find the big goals, that find their big passion, and get excited and inspired to create that new model. And when they are excited and inspired, and when they really know what they want to achieve, and they see that big picture in their mind, and I would like to emphasize here that that goal should be really big. Because if the goal is small, not big enough, it will not get them excited and inspired, and also other people will not be inspired. They will not get that energy. So big goal is like that container. Yes, as big a goal you have, bigger container you get, which will be filled with the energy which will be necessary to achieve that goal. So instead of just having small container and just do something that you don't even know, is it really like just because other people do it and you also decide to do, that will be not really good results, and you will spend the same time, the same energy, and maybe even will quit in the middle. Yes, because you will not really be excited and inspired. So I think that the key to get that really enthusiasm and be able to feel it and live every day from that place, the key is to have really big audacious goal. And when you get that big audacious goal, then you will get that big container full of energy, and then you will direct that energy only to actions which are aligned with that big goal. This is how you will become unstoppable. This is how you will become so powerful, because you already believe that it is already there waiting for you. And when you start thinking from that place or from the end, you will feel different and you will act different, and this will become contagious, that other people, other members of your team will also get inspired. So I think that the key is the owner of the company, who has to understand, like, to know exactly why he does this, and this goal should be really big. It should be, from one side, it should be exciting. Yes, and on the other hand, on the other side, it should be scaring. So he will be pushed, yes, by this desire, he will be pushed to go out of comfort zone, to take uncomfortable steps. And all people who work with him also we will get that energy. And this is how team will become powerful. And this is all, of course, related to mindset. I believe that people who work in one company, in one space, they have to be aligned at their mind. They should understand how their mind work, what is their beliefs, how they can really get big results. They should believe in themselves, in the company, also have their personal goals aligned with big company goals. So they should see how to, by helping company to achieve their goal, how they also will achieve their personal goals. Yes, so this all together will make company unstoppable.
I agree. And I think one thing you said about container, how often do we as companies try to imitate other companies or act like them? And it's a waste of time trying to become that kind of container, right? Why imitate another container? And I agree with you, because too often we not only compare ourselves, but we try to imitate. We try to be who we compete against. And like you said, why not have an audacious goal and have that goal be scary, but inspiring, as opposed to imitating what other people are? Because those people, if they really are smart, Elena, they're doing what they're doing because that's who they are. That's what they do best. Now, all of a sudden, we're trying to become or imitate what somebody else does best. And it's just not going to work.
Yes, definitely. We shouldn't compare ourselves with anyone because no one is better or worse than another one. Some people became successful because they could find that big idea which will drive them, which will make them inspired, and they were willing to do whatever it takes. Yes, to take those uncomfortable steps to overcome limitations, overcome challenges, and this is how they became successful. And many people just look at the end of their stories, and they think, oh, that person is successful, he doing that, so I better do that also, and I will become like him. Yes, and this is totally wrong, because you have to come from the place of your genius. You have to know what is your strength, what are your weaknesses, and what you really love to do that gives you that state of flow, that when you get really excited, inspired, when you don't feel even how time flies. Yes, because you're doing something that you love to do. And this is how people become successful, because the first prerequisite of success is to find what you really want, what you really love to do. Not just by looking what other people do and thinking because they become successful doing that, you also should do that. But maybe your genius is totally in different sphere. So it is important to find three things, like 3 steps to create wealth, according to the book Science of Getting Rich. The first, you should find what is in demand, what problem is in the market that you can solve, and that will be aligned with your genius, what you are good at and what you really love to do. The second one is to do it well. And the third one is to become the person who it is difficult to replace.
Mm-hmm.
So when you focus on providing that value, that there is demand to solve people's problem, when you become great expert in that field that it is difficult to replace, this is how you will be compensated uh, naturally by default by the law of compensation. Yeah, when you do value, provide value, your income will also be equivalent of that value which you provide. So this is the key, to find what you really love to do and see where is the gap in the market, what you can really do and love to do to fill that gap and focus on that to become the best. And again, not the best in comparison with other people, but the best in comparison with you yesterday. The only person you compare yourself is yourself. So you know that you can be the best that you can bring those talents and gifts on the surface and do something that will make other models obsolete. So in this case, you don't need to worry about competitors, because you know that you are given the unique talents and gifts. and you can create something that isn't doesn't even exist.
I agree with you. I think the only thing I would add to that is that as you look at what's out there in the market, allow yourself to feel inspired to focus in certain areas. There may be certain opportunities out there in the market that, let's say for me, I would go, I know there's an opportunity. I'm not inspired by it. But there are other areas where I go, now, wait a minute, there is an opportunity. I think it'd be amazing, and I'll go for it. I think one thing as entrepreneurs, because I started my company as a one-person company, and it was an accident. I didn't mean to start it, but I did, is that if you can wake up in the morning and feel excited about what you're going to do, you're probably doing something that's right for you. If you wake up every morning, you're going, oh boy, here we go again, one more of these. I think it's time to go look at what you're doing and not so much denigrate it or look down on it, but just say, I need to understand why I am not excited about this, why I am not fired up, and what can I do to be fired up and excited, because I will make everybody around me a lot happier if I'm an excited, positive person, as opposed to a glum, depressed person who is just going through the motions. So I think one thing to keep in mind is it's good for a lot of people. It's not just good for, one person. It's something that everyone around you feels when they see that, wow, you've got passion. You really care. And the thing I love the most, Elena, is when somebody has passion about something that a lot of other people have no interest in. And I go, God, that's great. Because first of all, there's less competition out there, which I think, hey, that's great. But the other thing is you've chosen something that is, it's unique. It's something that you just get so excited about. And other people go, yeah, who cares? For me, I love to look for differentiation. It's one word, 15 letters, 6 syllables. A lot of people cannot pronounce the word, but my entire focus is one word. So I've told people, I go, look, when I talk to a client, I go, look, all my company focuses on is one word, and that's differentiation. If you think you already have yours figured out, I'm not going to be that valuable for you. You don't want to work with me, because if you think you got it figured out, don't go to me. But if you're going, we really need to identify and celebrate our differentiation, it might be worth talking to me. Now, what's funny is I have companies out there, competitors, and they think it's like, yeah, who cares about differentiation? Who cares? And I'm going, I love that. My company works with very large corporations in many cases that sell and service their products through a distribution network or dealer networks, right? Well, a lot of my competitors go, I don't want to deal with that. I'm going, I love that, because if they don't see the differentiation in what my client produces, I've got to help them see it. I got to get them out there getting excited, because they're the people out there throughout the world that are offering the product or the service. So I'm excited about that. And I think it's really cool. And I love that in my case, many of my competitors find it very uninteresting. They don't care. And I'm going, awesome. Thank you. And I think each of us has to look at what we really love. And the more specific we can be, the better. And if you can bring it down to one word, or you can bring it down to 3 words, and if you can say, I have these 3 things that I do in a certain way that no one else does, even if it's not superior, but it's the way you do it, I think you're going to be happier. And I think everyone working with you will be happier. And you're going to do good from a business sense as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yes. This is again why we shouldn't compare ourselves with other companies or people, but just see what is unique about us, because we have unique background, we have unique life experience, and we can bring something. totally new and totally different, and there will be people who are looking exactly for what we can offer. Yes, and one my mentor told that wake up every morning and think that there are 10,000 of people looking for you and your offer on internet. And when you wake up with this feeling that there is really demand and people are looking for you, it will give you that excitement, yes, to show up, to do things which are maybe not very comfortable. Yes, step into unknown, because you, again, you have that feeling that you give something so valuable that there are
Mhm.
so many people are looking for. Yes, and it is important to become that valuable person. Yes, so this would will give that confidence and also happiness. Yes, because
Mhm.
we are happy when we have that big goal in our life, that big mission, when we find purpose of our life, again, that is aligned with our unique talents and gifts. And when we do things which we are meant to do, this is how we will live life with fulfillment. And this is what is success for me. Success for me is those ingredients when which comes all from really finding who you are. Yes, not who you were told you are by parents or by teachers, but really discovering yourself, finding who you really are, and building yourself. And building yourself not from, again, the place who you were told you were. Yes, because we are conditioned to think about ourselves. That is not true. Because people who were telling us who we were when we were small, they knew so little about us. So it comes time when we have to discover ourselves and really find who we truly are, what our talents and gifts, what we really want in life, what we want to trade our precious life for. And when we find this, this is how we will start building ourselves, our new personality, which will match with that big goal. Yes, because we cannot create any new reality with old personality. We have to constantly grow. And the reason for each goal, the purpose of each goal is not just to have something, it is to grow to that level of the goal. When you become the magnet and everything just around you is at the same level, yes, and it becomes attracted to you naturally.
That's really well put. I think what you said is absolutely right. And that's our job, Elena, as leaders, right?
Yes, yes, I believe that the world really needs to wake up. My very favorite book is a book which is written by Napoleon Hill, and it
Mhm.
is called Outwitting the Devil.
Mm.
Yes, when you said, I knew that you think about Think and Grow Rich. And
Yes, I've read that. I've read Think and Grow Rich, but not this other one. That's interesting.
yes, this is a very common reaction of
Yeah.
people who I meet, because the Think and Grow Rich is one of the most popular and famous books of Napoleon Hill, who helped millions of people to become millions by implementing those principles of success. And here I speak about another book which is not known, and which was kept as a secret for 70 years after it was written by Napoleon, by his relatives. It was not published because it is very, very transparent book. And I really recommend everyone to read this because it answers so many questions. And in this book, it is said that there is statistics. And interesting that the statistic, I believe, didn't change within this 100 years since the book was written. And according to these statistics, it is only 2% of people who think, 3% of people who think that they think, and 95% of people who would rather die than think.
I think that's a great comment. That's phenomenal.
It is, it is. And when you read this book, wow, it is just, you understand so many things which we can see, so many questions people have not answered, and they can definitely find answers in those questions. It is amazing book, one of my favorite. Yes, so I think that really, when we look at this world, we see that the world needs true leaders. Yes,
Mhm.
leaders who really come from the place of understanding what is going on, from the place of awareness, yes, high consciousness, who can lead by example. Yes, who really love people and can see the best in every person and want to leave them with the impression of increase. Another very good quality of the leader, how to inspire teams. This is by seeing the best in everyone and
Right.
appreciate what they do and leave them with the impression of increase. It means that communicating with them in the way that they will feel valued. Yes, and that they when they feel appreciated. And this is the way how leaders should show up, not just thinking about themselves, but how to uplift people who they work together every day.
That's brilliant. Uh, I will look for that book. I thank you for that. I will. I never have heard of that book, and I will. I will read it.
Yeah, you are most welcome. And I will be happy to record with you another episode when you read this book so we can discuss the content of it. And it will be very powerful episode and educational also for many people.
Well, thank you. I look forward to that.
You're most welcome. Yes, so I think we came to the end of this episode naturally. And if there is anything that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap it up.
I think the only thing I'd like to share, Elena, is that really honor and celebrate what makes you unique. My book, which is called The Power of Differentiation, shares that, and it shares the stories of many, many people who have really gone down that journey of discovering, not trying to create something that they really aren't, but discovering who they really are and then celebrating it to inspire everybody around them. So I urge people to go through that journey.
Thank you so much. And we would be happy to share the link to your book in the description to this video to help more people to learn about the power of differentiation.
Well, thank you, Elena. It's been a pleasure.
You're most welcome, Barisa. I'm looking forward to see you again.
Likewise.